Suppose you have a capacitor connected to a battery V. We told you in steady state, the current in the circuit will be 0. In the branch with the capacitor will be 0. Why will the current be 0? You have an insulator in between. You have an insulator in between. Agreed? If you have an insulator in between, there will be no current in steady state. What is steady state according to you? Capacitor is completely charged. Completely charged. There will be no current in the branch with the capacitor because I have an insulator here. But at the same time, current was flowing in the circuit when the capacitor is being charged. I keep a battery connected here. There is positive charge depositing here. By induction there will be negative charge. There was Q depositing on this plate. By induction there will be negative charge and then positive charge is pushed into the circuit. So when the capacitor is being charged, there was current flowing. Tomorrow when the capacitor is being discharged, also current will be flowing. When the capacitor is being discharged also, current will be flowing. In this chapter exclusively we will be dealing with steady state. When we start the chapter current electricity, we will deal with the charging and discharging of the capacitor. Clear with that? All of you. Now the question is, when you have charged a capacitor completely, you will have positive and negative charge. Q is equal to CV. This is the maximum charge on the capacitor. Once you have maximum charge on the capacitor is completely charged. If the capacitor is completely charged, you will call it steady state. In steady state, there will be no current passing through the capacitor. Agreed? Now the question is, whatever is the work done by the battery will be delta U plus heat loss. How much work is done by the battery? Battery is neither a source nor a sink. It will neither generate charge nor will it absorb charge. It will only maintain a potential difference. Battery will only maintain a potential difference. If battery maintains a potential difference, it is pushing charge Q through a potential difference of V. It is pushing charge Q through a potential difference of V. Hence, V into Q will be the work done. Half CV square will be the total energy stored in the capacitor. Heat loss will be left over. What is Q equal to CV? This is CV square, half CV square plus heat loss. Implies heat loss must be half CV square. This is a strange irony. If you people observe carefully, generally we have a notion that because I have a resistance in the circuit, heat is lost. Here what do you have? I don't have a resistance. But I am showing to you that that amount of heat must be lost. Ironically, resistor facilitates that heat loss. Ironically, resistor facilitates that heat loss. In the next chapter, we will place a resistance here and will prove to you that integral I square R dt will be equal to half CV square. In the next chapter, when I place a resistance here, mathematically we will prove to you that resistor will facilitate that amount of heat loss. What amount of heat loss? Half CV square. We will integrate and show to you mathematically that it will be half CV square. Right? Right now we understand one thing. If battery does some amount of work and the capacitor is completely charged, whole of the work done by the battery cannot be stored as energy in the capacitor. Only half of it can be stored in the capacitor. Where does the balance go? The balance is lost in the form of heat. It is your responsibility to facilitate that heat loss. Right? If you do not facilitate the heat loss, nature will think of alternative ways of losing that amount of heat, but that amount of heat must be lost. Are you clear? Quick.
सर हीट लॉस हो क्यों रहा है?
Right now we are only telling you what is the quantity of heat loss. How the heat should be lost will be dealt with a resistor. If not a resistor, what are the alternative means? We will come in electromagnetic theory. Now listen. 2 microfarad capacitor is connected to 2 volts of a battery. First step, what will be the positive and negative charge? Q initial on it will be 4 microcoulombs. Now when I replace this particular battery with a battery with greater voltage, I replaced this with a battery with a greater voltage of 4 volts but with the same polarity. This is 2 microfarads. Now what happens is this battery should push additional charge. Initially this has got 4 microcoulombs. Now battery will push additional charge of delta Q. How much will delta Q be? Q final should be 8 microcoulombs. So how much additional charge was pushed through it? 8 minus 4. 4 microcoulombs of additional charge is pushed through it. Right? 4 microcoulombs of additional charge is pushed through it. So now the additional work done by the battery will be delta U plus heat loss. Right? Now what additional work was done by the battery? 4 volts into 4 microcoulombs. This 4 microcoulombs of additional charge was pushed by the battery. Right? This will be equal to delta U half C V square 4 square minus half CV square. Final half CV square minus initial half CV square plus heat loss. Right? Suppose instead of replacing the 2 volt battery with a 4 volt battery, I prefer to first of all replace this 2 volt battery with the polarities reversed. Same 2 volt battery, I reversed the polarity. I picked it up and replaced it. This will be 2 microfarad capacitor. Observe this carefully. Now I should have positive charge deposited on this plate. Q final will be 4 microcoulombs. Q final will be 4 microcoulombs. Right? Initially 4 microcoulomb, finally 4 microcoulombs. But polarities of the capacitor have changed. If the polarities of the capacitor have changed, delta Q will be, first of all I should send 4 microcoulombs to nullify this polarity. When I nullify this polarity 4 microcoulombs, then the battery should push another 4 microcoulombs to recharge this. This will be 8 microcoulombs of charge. How much charge was pushed by this particular battery? 8 microcoulombs of charge was pushed through a potential difference of 2. Somebody got disconnected. Work done by the battery will be delta U plus heat loss. Right? Battery pushed 8 microcoulombs into 2 volts. 16 microjoules of work is done by the battery, which will be equal to half C V square minus half CV square. This will turn out to be 0. Whole of the work done will be lost in the form of heat. I replaced this 2 volts battery with the polarities reversed. Now this side should be positive, this side should be negative with the same charge. So first of all the 2 volt battery will have to push in charge to nullify the existing charge, that is 4 microcoulombs. Then it pushes another 4 microcoulombs to recharge this completely. Total of 8 microcoulombs. Right? Now 8 microcoulombs was pushed by the battery through a potential difference of 2 volts. This is the work done by the battery. Half CV square here and half CV square here are the same. Half CV square here and half CV square here are the same. If they are the same, net total delta U will become 0. So whole of the work done by the battery must be lost in the form of heat. Now come back to this. What if instead of placing a 4 volt battery, I place a battery of lesser potential. I place a battery of 1 volt here without any change in polarities. This is 2 microfarad capacitor. Please listen to this carefully. This is 4 microcoulombs of initial charge. Now what should final charge be on it? 2 microcoulomb. You cannot create charge. Neither is the battery a source nor a sink. So out of the 4 microcoulombs, 2 microcoulombs should remain on the capacitor. What happens to the balance 2 microcoulombs? From this plate, you will see the balance 2 microcoulombs coming back into this. The positive will go and nullify the negative. But here, positive charge is entering into the positive terminal of the battery. Till now, positive charge was being pushed away from the positive terminal of the battery. Now here positive charge is entering into the positive terminal of the battery. So we will call it work done on the battery. Work done by the battery is delta U plus heat loss in this case. Here how much? 2 microcoulombs went through the battery. But 2 microcoulombs into 1 volt. Why the hell did you put a negative sign here? Work is being done on the battery. When positive charge enters the positive terminal of the battery, work is being done on the battery. If positive charge leaves the positive terminal of the battery, work is being done by the battery. Right? Will be equal to delta U plus heat loss. Final 2 into 1 square minus half 2 into 2 square. Half 2 into 1 square minus half 2 into 2 square. This was final minus initial plus heat loss. Now go to the next step. What if you are replacing this 2 volt battery with a 4 volt battery but with polarities reversed? Here when you replaced this with a 4 volt battery, you maintain the same polarity. What if I reverse the polarity and make this negative and positive? This is 4 volts. This is 2 microfarads. This will become positive, this will become negative. Q initial is 8 microcoulombs. Q initial is 8 microcoulombs. Right? Q final will be 8 microcoulombs. Clear with that? If Q final is 8 microcoulombs, watch out for this. The positive charge deposits here, negative charge is attracted here and this goes in. So delta Q, first of all the polarities here should be reversed. 4 microcoulombs of positive charge should go and nullify this negative charge. Then another 8 microcoulombs must be pushed by the battery to charge this capacitor completely. So now you write work done by the battery is equal to delta U plus heat loss. Work done by the battery will be 12 microcoulombs into 4 volts. 12 microcoulombs into 4 volts. This is half final 2 into 4 square minus half 2 into 1 square plus heat loss. 12 microcoulombs into 4 volts. Right? This was so many microjoules. Half C final whole square, V final whole square minus half C V initial whole square plus heat loss. Now consider this. 4 volts both terminals. Yeah, come to this. 1 volt battery, when you replaced this with a potential of lower potential but with the same polarity, that was the situation. Now you replace this with 1 volt battery but with reverse polarity. This is 1 volt. Now I should have 2 microfarads here. Q final is 2 microcoulombs. Q final is 2 microcoulombs. Right? Now delta Q will be, you reversed the polarity. First you should send 4 microcoulombs to nullify the existing polarity. Then you will add 2 microcoulombs. Then you will send 2 microcoulombs to recharge it. Right? Hence, work done by the battery is delta U plus heat loss. Work done by the battery will be 6 microcoulombs into 1 volt, 6 microjoules. Half into 2 into 1 square minus half into 2 into 2 square. plus heat loss half C final whole square. C was this, V final whole square minus half C initial whole square. C into 2 square. Is this clear? All of you?
Yes.
Quick. Firstly, you have taken a 2 microfarad capacitor charged to a potential of 2 volts. This is the initial charge configuration for the system. Right? This will be 2 into 2 volt.
So could you please repeat the statement about when work is said to be done on the battery?
Okay, relax. Now, when you have a 2 microfarad capacitor charged to a potential of 2 volts, this is 4 microcoulombs. When you remove the 2 volts and place a 4 volts battery with the same polarity, now this should be further charged to a total of 8 microcoulombs. It already has 4 microcoulombs. The battery should further push in charge. The battery must push charge. Positive terminal of the battery is pushing positive charge. So there will be work done by the battery. How much additional charge was pushed by this battery? 4 microcoulombs. For this to become 8. So 4 microcoulombs into 4 volts. 16 microjoules of energy is being done by the battery. Delta U half CV square final minus half CV square initial plus heat loss. Delta U PUNE फिर से disconnect हो गया. Delta U final minus initial. Now instead of a 2 volt battery with this polarity, you reverse the polarity of the battery. That means the right plate should be positive now, left plate should be negative. That means the already existing charge must be nullified. If already existing charge is nullified, implies first of all 4 microcoulombs should be sent positive charge to nullify this charge. Then 4 microcoulombs should be pushed to recharge it to 4 microcoulombs. Battery positive terminal is pushing positive charge, hence work is done by the battery. Positive terminal is pushing positive charge, hence work is done by the battery. Right? So work done by the battery is delta U plus heat loss. Total of 8 microcoulombs into 2 volts, 16 microjoules. Delta U will be half CV square here, half CV square here are the same. So delta U is 0. Whole of the work done by the battery will be lost in the form of heat. What if you replace the 2 volt battery with a potential of lesser potential but the same polarity? So already existing charge will keep this at higher potential. New battery will be at lower potential. So positive charge will come into the battery. Right? And then this will be called work done on the battery. Till now positive charge was pushed out of the positive terminal. Now positive charge is pushed into the positive terminal. This is called work done on the battery. Hence I put it as negative. Half C V final whole square minus half C initial whole square. If I replace 2 volt battery with a 4 volt battery like this, but with polarities reversed. So first of all nullification of the charge should happen. Already existing negative charge on the right should first be nullified. Positive charge will go 4 microcoulombs to nullify the existing charge. Then 4 into 2, 8 microcoulombs. Work done by the battery will be half CV final whole square minus half CV initial whole square plus heat loss. What if you are replacing this with a 1 volt battery but with polarities reversed? Now delta Q should come and first nullify the existing 4 microcoulombs. Then this battery should recharge it with 2 microcoulombs. Total of 6 microcoulombs pushed through a potential difference of 1 volt. When positive charge is being pushed from the positive terminal of the battery, work is done by the battery. When positive charge is entering the positive terminal of the battery, work is done on the battery. Clear till here?
Yes.
Can I rub the board?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Huh?
Sir, is it always necessary?
So please wait.
Wait, Nerul is speaking, the others please switch off the mics. Nerul, speak.
Sir, is it always necessary that the heat will be generated in any type of conditions, or can it also be possible that the heat is taken inside, like endothermic?
In any of the examples in this equation, if heat turns out to be negative, that is heat absorbed. If heat turns out to be positive, it is heat given out.
So it's not, sir, what's the difference?
Only Nerul will speak.
All these examples. So all these examples are positive heat, so there can be situations where heat can be negative, right?
If ever you come across a problem where heat turns out to be negative, it is heat absorbed by the system. If heat is positive, it is heat dissipated by the system.
Okay, sir.
Huh.
Sir, in the
Sir,
second,
Dadar branch.
1 second, Dadar, wait.
sir, in the second case, you have taken 4 microcoulomb plus 4 microcoulomb 8. That is because initially 4 microcoulomb
Should be used for nullification of this charge.
and then additional 4 to make it because the polarity.
We actually don't know if the battery will first send 4 then send 4. We don't know. That is quantum mechanics. But that uncertainty will go. It will total send 8 microcoulombs is push what I know. I wrote it in 2 steps for you to understand why you need this 4 and why you need this 4.
We add 4 and 4 because the polarities are being.
Right. Dadar, switch on the mic.
Sir, right hand side, third case, sir, you told that battery's potential was decreased. So from positive terminal of capacitor, it gave plus Q charge to positive terminal of battery. So negative work. Sir, similarly at LHS, sir, first case, ऊपर वाला सर, हाँ सर, उसमें भी similarly voltage was decreased. तो again
Wait, once
capacitor के
again,
positive terminal
voltage is decreased with the reverse polarity. So first we will have to
Yes,
push
sir.
4 microcoulombs to nullify it. Don't tell me this capacitor is at higher potential than this. When you reverse it, the polarity, this is at higher potential than this. See, when this was negative,
Sir, why sir?
initially this was negative, right? Now when I kept 1
Yes,
volt
sir.
battery positive terminal here, positive will always be at greater potential than the negative. Initially
Yes, sir.
this was negative. Initially this was negative and positive. Now this is 1 volt. This positive terminal will be at higher potential than the negative.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Got it.
So PCMC, man. So what's the difference between the fourth and fifth case?
Hello. I'm in class. I'll be free by 1 o'clock. Yeah.
Sir, what's the difference between the fourth and the fifth case?
1, 2, 3, 4th and the 5th case. What is the similarity at the first place? We have replaced this with a 4 volt, you have replaced this with a 1 volt. That too, both polarities reversed. 4 volts battery also
Sir,
will
going-
nullify the existing charge, 1 volt battery also will nullify the existing charge and then recharge it.
Sir, exactly. So means there is no difference. Both are nullifying and then current direction of current
ये
is also same.
disconnect हो गया. Yeah.
Sir,
हाँ.
sir, can we generalize all of this using science? With science, का मतलब
Sign SIGN, I think.
positive,
SIGN.
negative लेके मतलब.
I don't have a problem. Even after elaborately splitting into so many situations, people are getting doubts. You want me to generalize it in one go, they will not understand. Right?
Sir, not in one go, but if you take science, तो मतलब same results आ रहे हैं.
See, work done by the battery is delta U plus heat loss. Play with that equation however you want. Right?
Okay, thank you, sir.
So when the other branch was having that doubt, I had the same doubt and we were disconnected, sir. So could you just repeat that?
What doubt did you have?
So in the right hand side bottom part, so work done was negative, right hand side, sir. So and in the left hand side now it is positive for the upper one.
Battery
Yes,
is
sir.
pushing this charge. Now, when you replaced this you had negative, positive, right? You replaced this with a 1 volt battery. Now 1 volt battery ka positive terminal will be at higher potential than the negative. Positive terminal of the 1 volt will be at higher potential than the negative. Hence that pushes this particular charge. Work is done by the battery. In this case, positive terminal and positive terminal. This was initially at 2 volts and this is at 1 volt. So charge will go into the battery.
Okay, sir, understood. Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
One
these
second.
situations-
1 second.
So basically in all these cases we are finding the heat in by the system to reach the steady state, right?
Steady state. We are dealing with steady states. Initial, final. Yeah, somebody was asking for something.
So in these situations, are we first changing the polarity and then changing the voltage, or does it matter like which order we are doing it in?
I didn't get your question. You'll have to say that again.
So does it matter if we first change the polarity and then change the voltage?
How will you do that? You are replacing this with a battery. Either this side or that side. I have replaced the 2 volts battery with a 4 volts battery. So polarity and the value of the voltage will change simultaneously.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Force due to one plate on the other. Now you have 2 capacitor plates. The distance between them is d. C is epsilon naught A by d. Right? Now if you have a potential V, you will charge this way and this will be negative charge. Q is equal to CV. This will generate a field at this particular point. Field is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Due to one sheet of charge, the field here will be sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Due to one sheet of charge, the field here will be sigma by 2 epsilon naught. This will be Q by 2A epsilon naught. Field is Q by 2A epsilon naught. So what will the force be? Q square by 2A epsilon naught. Force due to one plate on the other. HCV in one of the objectives is asking you, if I introduce a dielectric in between, force due to one plate on the other will remain unaffected, will remain the same. Why will it remain the same? We have drawn the graphs. Here the field is E naught. Inside it is E naught by epsilon r. Outside it is again E naught. The negative and the positive charges induced will not produce any effect outside. They will cancel out each other. Remember, we have done this in the previous class. Hence force due to one plate on the other will be unaffected. Same logic when we started electrostatics we took with point charges. We told you the first question of Krotov, there will be negative and positive. But here the force on the negative charge will increase on introduction of the dielectric. Why? These two are point charges. Outside the dielectric they will produce unbalanced field. But these both are infinite large sheets. Outside the dielectric they will produce a field. They will produce no field. These both will produce a field. Here force on negative charge
Due to each other they will remain.
when epsilon r is introduced. Right? Force on negative charge increases on introducing the dielectric. The difference between the two, people quote Krotov and HCV and say when they are contradicting, they are not. For a point charge, field outside will be dependent on distance. For a sheet, field outside is independent of distance. Is this point very clear to all? Quick. Now that you people have so much fascination for research, solve this problem. This is V, this is C, the distance between them is D, C is epsilon naught A by D. First question, if the plates are separated to a distance of 2D, find work done by the external force. First question. And then heat loss. I have kept the battery connected and I am increasing the distance to 2D. Battery is connected and I am increasing the distance to 2D. Think carefully and solve the problem. There is more than one trap in it. You have kept the battery connected and you are pulling the plates apart to a distance of 2D. 1 second, listen to me. Pay attention, 1 second, listen to me. Mic on. First of all, this is playing with numbers. Do not generalize this result. What if I start moving this outwards? I am applying an external force. When the plate is at a distance of x, I want to move it by a distance of dx. When the plate has been moved by a distance of x, I want to move it by an additional distance of dx. What will be the work done by the external force? F external dot dx. Everybody agrees with this? What is the external force I should apply? Equal to the force of attraction between them, so that change in kinetic energy is 0. Right? F external will be force of attraction between them. Q square by 2a epsilon naught dx cos 0. Agreed? Q will be Cv whole square by 2a epsilon naught dx cos 0. Say something.
Yes.
What is the value of C? Work done by the external source. Epsilon naught A by x whole square whole square whole square V square into 1 by 2a epsilon naught dx. All that I have done is substituted the value of C. Right? Now, square and this will go. I am left with epsilon naught A V square by 2 integral dx by x square integral dw. This is the work done by the external source in increasing x from d to 2d. I have increased x from d to 2d. Work done by the external force epsilon naught A V square by 2 integral dx by x square minus 1 by x d to 2d. Right? Epsilon naught A V square by 2 minus 1 by 2d minus 1 by d. Hope the simplification is right. Epsilon naught A V square by 2 1 by 2d minus 1 by d is minus 1 by 2d. Right? Will become
40.
I think quite a few people got this answer correct. They were telling me half CV square. Right? Epsilon naught A by D, they called it as initial C. Right? Half 1 by 4, so on and so forth. Our problem is not over. There is a specific catch in this problem. Listen, I am interested to know the heat loss. Pay attention here. I am interested to know the heat loss. What will your equation be? Work done by the battery plus work done by the external source is delta U plus heat loss. What is the additional work done by the battery? Initially the charge was Q. Initially it was Q is CV. C was epsilon naught A by D. This is Q initial. What will Q final be? CV. This will be epsilon naught A by 2D. Q final, Q initial difference was the additional charge pushed by the battery. I'll have to put that as work done by the battery. Do I know the difference in the delta U? Half CV square final, half CV square initial. V is the same but C is changing. Will I get the heat loss?
Yes, sir.
All of you.
Yes, sir.
Make it fast, you will be amused to see the answer.
Sir,
For the capacitor.
sir, delta U comes out to be equal to W external.
Relax, tell me the heat loss. Tell me the heat loss.
Sir, for the capacitor.
So yeah, okay, sir.
Isn't work battery also external?
So 0. So 0.
So when external work is asked, we have to
Sir, 0.
Some right here, when external work is asked.
External plus battery, both of them are doing.
No, for
External, I am pulling it. I am pulling it. Now work done by the battery plus work done by external source is delta U plus heat loss. Work done by the battery will be V delta Q plus work done by the external source epsilon naught A V square by 4D. This is half epsilon naught A by 2D minus epsilon naught A by D into V square plus heat loss. Half C final minus C initial. Now work done by the battery will be V. What is the additional Q which went in? Epsilon naught A by 2D into V minus epsilon naught A by D into V. Q is C into V. Q is C into V. This was final. This was initial. Additional charge pushed by the battery. C final minus C initial. C final is lesser. Say something. Yes. C final is lesser. C initial is more. So when I take the difference, will I get a negative sign? Now you understand what do we mean by work done on the battery. C final is lesser. C initial is great than this. So difference I will get negative because work is being done on the battery. This will turn out to be negative. Epsilon naught A V square by 4D is equal to epsilon naught A by, this will be 4D into V square plus heat loss. Keep an eye on the simplification.
The negative sign on the right side.
Right
side.
Here,
Negative sign.
negative sign. Now this will turn out to be epsilon naught A by 2D V square with a negative sign. Epsilon naught A V square by 4D minus epsilon naught A by 4D V square plus heat loss. Right? Are you able to see this? Why you got negative sign here? Because charge went back into the battery. Work is being done on the battery. Hence you got a negative sign. Now this turns out to be heat loss is 0. Please do not generalize this problem. It is a mere coincidence that the numbers are smartly adjusted, that you are increasing the distance from D to 2D. Hence the answer is turning out to be 0. Tomorrow if I give you work done in moving from D to 3 by 4D, may not be true that I get heat lost is 0. I may get a different value. Here we played a smart move with the numbers. Hence you are getting heat loss to be 0. Do not generalize this result.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, what was the trap in this question?
Ultimately, this plus this will cancel out. Heat done, heat lost will be 0. Second, the
Sir, what
work
was the
done.
multiple trap?
What are the multiple traps?
Here, force will not be a constant force. It will be a variable force. Second, when you are applying the force, you are moving it in such a way so that there is no change in kinetic energy. You took work done by battery plus work done by external is delta U plus heat loss. You did not take change in kinetic energy. Implies you are moving it in such a way that the plate is moving very slowly. Now listen, this capacitor will be short circuited. Short circuiting is destroying the potential difference across a component. Short circuiting is destroying a potential difference across a component. Right? Now initially the switch is open. Positive charge will come and deposit here. By induction there will be negative charge induced, equal positive charge will be pushed. The positive charge deposits here. By induction there will be equal negative charge and the charge will complete the circuit. In steady state, what will be the charge on both these capacitors? First of all, find out C equivalent. This will be C1 C2 upon C1 plus C2. C square by 2C. C by 2. What will be the charge pushed? C equivalent into V, CV by 2. That means this will have CV by 2, CV by 2. Let me take numbers to make my life a bit easy. 10 microfarads and 10 microfarads. Voltage is 100 volts. So what will Q be? 10 into 100 by 2. This will be 500 microcoulombs on this. 500 microcoulombs on this. 500 microcoulombs on this. Agreed? When the switch is closed, when S is closed, you have closed the switch. Whole of 100 volts will appear across this 10 microfarad capacitor. Why? You connected this and this. Potential difference across this component will become 0. Potential difference across this component will become 0. Why will the potential difference become 0? This is called short circuiting. There is no particular resistance here. This point and this point will be at the same potential. These 2 points will be at the same potential. Potential difference across this will become 0. If potential difference across this will become 0, potential difference across this will become 0, whole of this potential will appear across this. Right? If whole of this potential appears across this, whole of this potential appears across this, Q will be equal to 1000 microcoulombs. You may ask, what happened to the already existing negative and positive charge? The negative and positive charge will go and nullify with each other. This negative and positive will nullify each other. Right? This charge will not be available for this capacitor. So additional charge must be pushed by the capacitor only. 1000 minus 500 microcoulombs. So 500 microcoulombs of charge must be pushed by the battery. On the switch being closed, is there additional work done by the battery? Work done by the battery will be 500 microcoulombs into 100 volts. So many microjoules of work will be done by the battery. Is the logic clear? Quick.
Say POWAI got 16.
Borivali 16.
F16.
C equivalent is 6 into 3 divided by 6 plus 3. 18 by 9. 2 microfarads. Both will have the same charge as they are in series. Q is equal to C equivalent into V. 2 into 2. 4 microcoulombs of charge. 4 microcoulombs and 4 microcoulombs. When S is closed, this is 6 microfarads, 3 microfarads, and this is closed. The potential difference across this will become 0. It cannot hold charge. Now whole of the 2 volts will appear across this. So Q final will be 12 microcoulombs. Delta Q, initially it had 4, now it has 12. So delta Q will be 8 microcoulombs. Work done by the battery, 8 microcoulombs into 2 volts. 16 microjoules of work is done by the battery.
Sir,
Yeah.
so the 4 microcoulomb charge which is present on the second capacitor which you have short circuited, that will stay as it is now after short
The
circuiting.
negative and positive will merge with each other and destroy the charge available on it.
Destroy matlab?
Negative, positive will destroy each other. Null charge will become, the charge on the plates will become 0. Negative charge
So
of
when we are, if we are,
negative charge of -4 merges with positive charge of +4 and the net charge on the capacitor will become 0.
so if we are asked to find the heat, we won't consider its energy, final energy, half CV square.
We will. Initial energy was half CV square. Heat loss will be delta U plus heat loss. Now I know the final energy, half CV square. I know the initial energy of both. Final total half CV square.
Finally only of 1, na?
You have only one here. Kya पूछ रहे हो यार? You want me to take this half into 3 into half into 3 into 0 square? कर क्या रहे हो यार? Finally there is only one capacitor. There will be only one charge. If not right, half into 3 into 0 square. 100 volts. 10 microfarads, 10 microfarads, 5 microfarads. When the switch is closed, find the work done by the battery. When the switch is closed, find the work done by the battery.
So you asked us to remind you for the weekly discussion.
Yes, yeah, but the problem is I thought this topic would be over. Your interruptions continuously. I am unable to complete this subtopic. I'll have to complete this. I cannot leave it half the way through.
Sorry.
बोले यार 0.16 joules.
क्या?
0.16 joules.
0.16 joules is saying.
Ah, right. I think he's right. We remember the answer in microjoules. He's telling in joules. Wait, 1 second. Yeah. 16 into 10 raised to minus 10 raised to 4 microjoules.
So 16 into 10 raised to 4.
Yeah.
Really?
C equivalent will be 10 and 10 will be 20. 20 into 5 by 20 plus 5. 100 by 25, 4 microfarads. So Q initial will be 100 into 4, 400 microcoulombs of charge. Both these put together will have 400 microcoulombs. This will have 400 microcoulombs. I am not further splitting it into these two as I am not interested in it. When the switch is closed, this will go. I will have only this and this. I will have 100 volts. This is 10 microfarads, 10 microfarads, 10 microfarads. But this is potential drop is 0. Right? Now whole of the 100 will appear across this. 10 plus 10 is 20. C will be 20 microfarads. Hence, whole of the 100 volts appear across this. Q final is 2000 microcoulombs of charge. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Q final will be 2000 microcoulombs of charge, shared equally by both 1000 and 1000. Initially, both put together was 400. So, delta Q will be 1600 microcoulombs. Work done by the battery is 1600 into 10 raised to minus 6 into 100. So many joules of work. 3 volts, 3 volts, 6 microfarads, 3 microfarads. Question asked is, when the switch is closed, find the charge going from P to Q. When the switch is closed, find the charge going from P to Q. When the switch is closed, find the charge going from P to Q. Find, write down. Find the charge flowing from P to Q. When the switch is closed. When the switch is closed, find the charge flowing through P to Q, from P to Q. First find out the initial charge on both, find out the final charge on both.
Sir, is the answer 3?
I don't think here also somebody told me 3. I'll just solve and see it, but I don't think it is 3. I remember that as 6. I may be wrong, let's see. First of all, when the switch is open, these both capacitors are in series. Do you agree with that? C equivalent is 2 microfarads. These both battery cells are in series. This will be 2 into 6 volts. This will be 12 microcoulombs. So initially I will have 12 microcoulombs and 12 microcoulombs. I'll have positive, negative, positive, negative. This is the initial configuration. Yes or no? Yes. Now that the switch is closed, observe this. Potential difference across this will be the potential difference of the battery. 3 volts. So this will be 18 microcoulombs. And here potential difference across this will be 3. This will be 9 microcoulombs. This is the initial, this is the final. Till here everybody clear about it? When the switch was open, these both are in series. 6 into 3 divided by 6 plus 3, 2 microfarads. These both cells are in series. This will be 6. Hence 12 microcoulombs is initially on both the capacitors. Agreed? Now when the switch is closed, what is the potential difference across this? 3 volts. Potential difference across this will be 3 volts. Potential difference across this will be 3 volts. Agreed? Say something.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All of you.
Yes, sir.
6 into 3, 18. 3 into 3, 9.
So when you close the switch, the potential difference becomes
3 volts across this. Battery ka potential difference. They both are in parallel now. You have connected the negative terminal of the battery to this, positive terminal of the battery to this. So potential difference will be 3.
But so if both have different charges now, then
कैपेसिटर पे नीचे वाले बैटरी का कोई इफेक्ट नहीं पड़ेगा.
नीचे वाला battery absolute potential is never defined. It is potential difference. Observe this. If I take this to be 0, this will be 3 volts. This will be 6 volts. Agreed? If I take this to be 0, this will be 3 volts, this will be 6 volts. What is the potential difference across the 6 microfarad capacitor now? 6 minus 3, 3. Right?
Yes sir, got it.
Now, how do we finish off the problem now? Now that we know the initial and final charges. Listen. Now initially I had 12 microcoulombs here. Finally it should have 18. That means 6 microcoulombs of positive charge should come here, minus 6 microcoulombs of negative charge should come here. Here I had 12 should go down to 9. So minus 3 microcoulomb should leave from here, plus 3 microcoulomb should leave from here. This charge and this charge will be equal in magnitude. So minus 3 is coming over here, right? Plus 6. Plus 6, this direction could be interpreted as minus 6 in the opposite direction. Plus 6 in this direction can be interpreted as minus 6 in the opposite direction. Yes or no?
Yes.
Minus 6 minus 3 will be minus 9 microcoulombs coming this way. Does it fulfill my requirement? Minus 9 plus 3, will I get minus 6? Minus 9 plus 3, am I getting minus 6? Right? Plus 6 microcoulomb this way is interpreted as minus 6 in the opposite direction. Minus 3, batteries are neither a source nor a sink. So minus 6 minus 3 will come down to minus 9. Minus 9 plus 3 will be minus 6. Hence, how much charge is going through the switch when the switch is closed? Minus 9 microcoulomb from P to Q. If somebody is asking you charge from Q to P, it will be plus 9 microcoulomb.
So we can interpret from the capacitor side also, no?
Any side you interpret, you should get the same answer.
In the upper battery.
Sir, how will the capacitor in the upper circuit will not get any effect by the battery in the lower circuit, sir?
The battery here has a 0 volt, this will be 3 volt, then this will be 6 volts. Agreed? So this
Yes,
also
sir.
is maintaining 3 volts here. This will maintain 6 volts here. So the difference, potential difference is 3, which will appear across this. This and this will be at 3 volt, this and this will be 6 volt.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, can you please explain the directions again, sir? I didn't understand.
Now
it
12
clearly.
microcoulombs of positive charge here should go up to 18 microcoulombs. So positive charge of 6 microcoulomb should come here. Positive charge in the clockwise direction could also be interpreted as negative charge in the opposite direction. So instead of plus 6 this way, I am taking minus 6 this way. Negative charge of 12 should come down to 9. So minus 3 will be coming this way. Minus 6 this way, minus 3 this way will add up to minus 9 microcoulomb here.
Yes, sir, got it.
Minus 9 plus 3 is adding to minus 6, that fulfills the requirement.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now first of all, if I have two capacitors C1 and C2 in parallel and this is V, I'll have positive negative charge, right? Now if this is Q, this will be Q1, this will be Q2. Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2, first equation. Second equation, potential difference across this and this will be equal. Q1 by C1 is equal to Q2 by C2. When you simplify this, Q is equal to Q1 will be Q2 C1 by C2 plus Q2. This is Q2 C1 plus C2 by C2. So I get Q2 to be C2 by C1 plus C2 into Q. Q1 will be C1 by C1 plus C2 into Q. Something that you will remember, hereafter I will start using directly. If Q amount of charge is coming in, what will be the charge here? C1 divided by C1 plus C2 into Q. What will Q2 be equal to? C2 divided by C1 plus C2 into Q. Once again I will have Q amount of charge coming through here. because on the negative plates I'll have induced minus Q and it will push total of plus Q. Clear? I need this for the next problem. Take it down. Now Nirudov says this is C and this is C naught. Nirudov is asking you people what is the work done by the battery when the switch is thrown from A to B. Work done by battery when S is thrown from A to B. You throw the switch from A to B. I should know what additional charge is being pushed by the battery. All of you will pay attention. This problem is a bit difficult. You need to understand this. Right? Please pay attention here. You will not try this problem. I will explain. Listen. Thane, listen. When you are throwing the switch from A to B, initially C and C naught are in parallel combination. You can redraw this circuit like this. This is V, C, C, C naught. C and C naught are parallel. That is in series with C and this is the battery. Both are the same circuit. First step, is it clear to all? Right? When you throw this from here, we will come to the last stage. But first of all, this will be negative, positive, negative, positive, positive, negative. I will take the charge on this to be Q and Q naught. Charge on this will be Q plus Q naught. Positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. Q plus Q naught charge is pushed by the battery. I will have Q plus Q naught coming back into this. Agreed? Q plus Q naught is pushed into this. This will be minus Q plus Q naught. The process is on. That's why you will have Q plus Q naught here, Q naught here, Q here. Initial configuration. Till here, is it clear to all? Yes or no? Yes. What is the final configuration? You are telling me the final configuration will be like this. This is B, this is A, this is V. This is C, C naught and C. Now in final configuration, this is connected to positive. Polarities will remain the same. But here polarities will reverse. This was negative. Now this will become positive. Now this polarities will be the same. This is Q plus Q naught. This is Q. This is Q naught. Because now these both are in parallel. These both are in parallel. This will be Q, this will be Q naught and Q plus Q naught. Negative, positive, negative, positive. No doubt so far. Now let us understand what is the transition happening. What are you in search of? I am in search of the quantity of charge being pushed by the battery. That will give me the work done. What happens to come till this particular stage? First step, when I throw the switch, this is C, this is C naught, this is C. Right? There will be positive, negative. Originally you had Q plus Q naught here. Right? Originally you had negative, positive, negative, positive. This was Q, this was Q naught. But now the lower plate should become positive, upper plate should become negative. So when I threw the switch, this part I have got additional charge. This will come and nullify this. The negative will come and nullify the positive, positive will come and nullify the negative. What makes you say that this charge will leave Q naught amount of charge? See the final distribution I am supposed to have. The additional charge which this capacitor was holding will be released by the capacitor, because now the potential difference across the capacitor will be lesser than the potential I had here. Initially V1 appeared. When C0 comes here, the potential across this will decrease. That means it will release some amount of charge. How much? By symmetry I can see that Q0 amount of charge is released. This Q0 will nullify this charge. So what will come here? You will have, this will be C, C0 and C. Negative, positive. I will have Q here. This is nullified. This is negative, positive. I will have Q here. This is V. Once Q0 nullified, this is the situation of the circuit. Agreed? Now I need see the final. I should get Q0 here and I should get Q0 here. Do I ask for help from anywhere inside the circuit? I don't have. This has reached its final state. This has reached its final state. Right? So now the only other alternative is I ask help from the battery to push in Q0 amount of charge. When battery pushes in Q0 amount of charge, now battery is pushing Q0 amount of charge. This has reached its maximum capacity. This is C0, right? This Q0 charge will go into this, plus and minus. This will have Q0. It will push in Q0 charge. That Q0 will come here, plus and minus. This will become Q plus Q0, and I will get back Q0 charge into this. The battery pushed only Q0. Positive charge will deposit here. By induction there will be negative charge. Plus Q0 will go here. Some students may feel, what makes you say that Q0 will not go to this side? Potential difference governs the flow of charge. This is already to its maximum capacity. That means this will be at higher potential. So charge will flow this way and come to Q plus Q0. As a result of which, negative charge also will become Q plus Q0. And then positive charge of Q0 will be pushed into the circuit, leaving you with this particular configuration. How much charge was pushed by the battery? Q0 charge. Work done by the battery is V into Q0. How will you get the value of Q0? Two equations, two variables. You already know Q plus Q0 is C equivalent into V. My first equation. Second, Q by C is equal to Q0 by C0. Two equations and two variables. Right? Q by C is Q0 by C0. Once you get Q0, substitute here, you will get the answer for work done by the battery. Isn't it?
Sir?
Yeah.
So on the third capacitor, won't the charge be Q plus 2 Q0?
Why?
The leftmost.
Why?
So because pehle, no, not that. Sir, in the third diagram to the right, down, bottom में. उसमें third capacitor left वाला.
Now it already has Q charge. Battery is pushing Q0 charge. So I will have Q plus Q0. Negative additional minus Q0 plus Q0 is pushed. If Q0 is pushed,
so now I didn't understand. So pehle it was Q in the second diagram, middle ऊपर.
Right.
ऊपर वाला. Then it got Q plus Q0.
कहाँ से Q plus Q0? This Q0 nullified this.
Because that Q.
This Q0 negative went and nullified this, positive went and nullified this. This does not get Q0. This Q0 nullified this. That's why
the charge won't.
Negative came and nullified this. No यार वहाँ कैसे जाएगा यार?
हाँ sir, sorry sir, समझा sir.
Sir, in the second last step.
Second last step, right?
Yes sir. Sir, is it possible that Q0 goes from the neutral capacitor to the left capacitor? So that neutral one becomes Q0 and the left one becomes Q plus Q0. So not from the battery, sir. Is it possible that it goes from the neutral capacitor to the left capacitor?
Neutral capacitor में charge है ही नहीं. That was nullified by this. Now this doesn't have any charge. This should also gain Q naught. This should also gain Q naught. Other than battery, do we have any other source? C naught. Initially when this was positive, see this is connected to negative. This is connected to negative, this is connected to positive. Finally when I threw the switch to B, positive is connected to the lower terminal. This negative should become positive. This positive will remain positive, this negative will remain negative. So if the polarity is reversed, first when I throw the switch to B, A to B, what happens is this Q naught from here will come and nullify this. So you will be left with this circuit. Now you have Q, that is the maximum capacity of this. It's charged to the fullest extent. I should push Q naught amount of charge. That Q naught passes through this and completes this circuit. Passes through this and completes this circuit. So you will reach to the final situation.
Sure. So in these kind of problems, only one possible solution is there's only one solution possible.
Obviously, will there be any other possible way? No. One second. Yeah.
So from last I can draw this kind of diagram.
We do and we remove this. All that you will do is now these two C plus C naught. This will come C plus C naught here and one C here.
In that the polarity not reversed, that's all.
Polarities will be, if you observe carefully. See, all that you will do is make this straight, make this straight. 100% it will be. See, diagram से क्या लेना देना है? Now positive is connected to the negative. Bas. See, here it was negative connected to this. Now positive is connected to this. You are able to directly see.
Sir, on the left hand side of the board, what is written below Q plus Q naught is equal to CQV, sir, दिख नहीं रहा वो नीचे.
Q by C is Q naught by C naught. Potential difference across this is Q by C. Potential difference across this is Q naught by C naught. Q by C is Q naught by C naught.
Okay, sir, got it. Thanks.
Sir, you said that Q naught charge will not flow
To the right.
because
This is at higher potential.
yes, but in the first case, it has Q plus Q naught charges.
No, yeah.
Sir, in the first case.
Right. So when charge came here, Q plus Q naught, have a look at it. Q plus Q naught came here.
So
That's
then
split
it should
into
not have a Q naught charge.
here. Then there was no charge on it. Then there was no charge on it when you're charging it. So Q plus Q naught came here. This will be Q plus Q naught. Q will go here, Q naught goes here. They add up and comes here. Right.
Sir, could you just explain how did you get the final diagram initially?
When you threw the switch to B, now C and C naught are in parallel, C is in series. So now this Q plus Q naught will come here. Now this circuit will be like this. This C, C naught, C and C. Now this will become Q plus Q naught. This will be Q, this will be Q naught. That's what I have shown here.
So can you, so the second equation is not visible, sir.
Q by C, potential difference across this is equal to the potential difference across this. Q by C is Q naught by C naught is the second equation. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Q by C is equal to Q naught by C naught.
So can you explain that part, that last, how you went from second last to the last one, sir?
This to this or this to this?
Yes.
This to this. Now
yeah,
this
this one.
capacitor is nullified. The polarity should reverse. So firstly this Q naught came and nullified this charge. Now what happens? This should get Q naught charge, this should get Q naught charge. Where from will you get? The battery will push that charge. Battery pushes Q naught charge. Q naught will deposit here. Minus Q naught by induction. Plus Q naught will go and complete this circuit. Charging this to an additional charge of Q naught.